Hello viewers, today we would discuss certain examples of stator design of the synchronous machine, but before moving to that point I would like to discuss certain formulas related to the calculation of eddy current losses as well as the formulas of effective resistance of the stator windings. So let's begin. So let's start with the calculation of eddy current losses. Now, eddy current losses in a conductor can be calculated from the design data of the stator slot. To find out the average loss factor, the average loss factor, which is nothing but K with a subscript of TAV, is given by 1 plus alpha into HC whole raised to 4 multiplied by m square divided by 9, where alpha is nothing but the under root of the ratio of copper width in the slot divided by the slot width, whereas HC is nothing but the depth of the strand or the conductor, and the small m represents the number of conductors in the slot depth. So using this average loss factor, we would see how the eddy current losses are calculated. So the formula for eddy current loss is given by KDAV minus 1 multiplied by the copper losses in the stator windings. So using this formula you can find out the eddy current losses in the stator winding. Next we would move to the effective resistance of the stator winding. So the effective resistance of the stator winding can now be found out from the resistance of the stator winding and the average loss factor. So first let us find out the resistance drop. So the resistance drop is given by IR, which is equal to IPH multiplied by RS multiplied by the average loss factor. Hence, the effective resistance can be given by IR divided by VPH, where IR is nothing but the resistance drop divided by the voltage per phase, and this is given in per unit. There are a certain terminologies which are linked with the depth of the stator core. So let's have a look at that. The depth of the stator core for both types of alternators, that is turbo alternator as well as salient pole alternators, can be estimated by using proper value of operating flux density in the stator core. So the flux density can vary from 1.1 to 1.3 Tesla and can be assumed for stator core of both type of alternators. So let us see how the flux density in the stator core is taken as. So flux density in the stator core is given by BC, which is equal to phi upon 2 into AC, where AC is nothing but the sectional area of the stator core. Sectional area of the stator core, that is AC, and which can be given as DC into Li, where DC is nothing but the depth of the stator core. So let us represent this mathematically. Again, the depth of stator core, that is DC, can be given as phi upon 2 into BC into Li. Now how did we get this formula? We are just using the above two formulas in finding out this particular formula. And the last term that I would like to discuss with you is the outer diameter of the stator core. So let us write outer diameter of stator core, which is given by capital D with a subscript of O, which is equal to capital D plus 2 into DC plus HS, where as we know that capital D is the inner diameter of the stator core plus twice of small dc, as we have seen, is the depth of the stator core, and HS is the height of the slot. Once we have covered all the theoretical fundamentals in the previous videos, let us move ahead with the numerical, and let us read the data of our first numerical, which says calculate the stator core dimensions for a 10 MVA 11 kV 50 Hz 3-phase 2-pole turbo alternator based on the following data: the specific magnetic loading, which is given as BAV and the value is 0.63 Tesla, specific electric loading, which is given by Q. In some of the books you will also find this as AC, and the value is 48,000 ampere conductors per meter. The limiting peripheral speed is 120 meters per second, the length of the air gap Lg is given as 2 centimeters, and the final data is stator winding factor, that is Kw, which is given as 0.955. The question has asked us to find out the stator core dimensions. That means we need to find out the internal diameter of the stator, capital D, as well as the gross length of the stator core, that is capital L. But before we reach to that point, we need to make certain calculations so that we can find out capital D and capital L. So we'll start a journey with the output coefficient. So the output coefficient, which is given by K dash, is nothing but 11 into PV into Q into Kw into 10 raised to minus 3. Now we have the values of BV, or let's say it as BAV, Q, Kw into 10 raised to minus 3. So let's substitute it. So the value of K dash would be 11 multiplied by BAV, the value is given as 0.63 Tesla, multiplied by the value of Q, that is specific electric loading, the value is given as 48,000 as mentioned in the question. The stator winding factor Kw, again the value is given as 0.955 multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. On multiplying these terms, we get the value of K dash as 317. So the output coefficient is 317. Now let us talk about the speed of the turbo alternator. So the speed of turbo alternator is equal to 2 into F by P. So it would be 2 into 50 divided by the number of poles is 2. So the answer I get is 50 RPS. Remember to mention the unit. This would not be 50 RPM, but this would be 50 RPS. Moving ahead to the output of the alternator, which is given by capital Q, which is equal to K dash into D square L into NS. So this NS is nothing but this 50 RPS. So therefore I can get this particular value from this equation. So making D square L as the subject of the equation, I can write this as Q upon K dash into NS. Now simply substituting the values, the value of Q, it is given as 10 MVA. So 10 multiplied by 10 raised to 3, because Q is always taken in kVA. So and the value of Q is 10 MVA. So I'm writing as 10 multiplied by 10 raised to 3 divided by my value of K dash as calculated is 317, and the value of NS, that is nothing but the speed of the alternator, is given as 50 RPS. The next data provided in the question is the peripheral speed. The peripheral speed, which is given by V, is equal to, now the peripheral speed can be taken as pi into dr into n. So pi into dr, where dr is the diameter of the rotor and n, or let's say ns, is the speed of the rotor. So the peripheral speed value is 120, which is equal to pi into dr into value of ns is 50. On calculating this, I get the value of dr, that is diameter of the rotor, as 0.76 meters. Once the outer diameter of the rotor is found out, we can find out the internal diameter of the stator by simply adding the air gap on both the sides. Let us see this pictorially. So let us consider this as the rotor and this as the stator. Now if I have the outer diameter of my rotor winding, and if I know the air gap length would be uniform throughout the air gap between the stator and the rotor. So therefore the outer diameter of the rotor plus twice of the air gap length would give me the inner diameter of the stator. So therefore I can calculate my capital D, which is equal to dr plus twice of the air gap length, that is Lg. Substituting the values, we know that the value of dr is 0.76 plus twice the value of length of air gap, which is given as 2 centimeters. Converting it into meters, because my dr is in meters and I want my capital D in meters, so this would be twice of 0.02. so my capital D turns out to be 0.8 meters. Once we have found out the value of capital D as 0.8 meters, using this product of D square L, we can easily find out the value of capital L. So this 10 into 10 raised to 3 upon 317 into 50, this turns out to be 0.631 meter cube. So the value of D square L is equal to 0.631 meter cube. The value of capital D is equal to 0.8 meters. So the value of L can be given as 0.631 divided by 0.8 square. On calculating this further, I get the value of L as 0.99 meters, which is nothing but my gross length of the stator core. I want you all to pause the video here and go through the entire numerical again, which would provide you a better clarity on how to solve such type of numericals. Hope you found the previous numerical quite easy. So let's move to the next numerical, and the data reads as: during the design of the stator frame of a 4760 kVA, 13.8 kV, 50 Hz, 1000 RPM, 3-phase salient pole alternator, the following data has been obtained. The first is the diameter of the stator at the air gap is 1.10 meters. and the gross length of the stator core is 0.95 meters. Based on the above data, calculate the specific loading constants for this machine. So, I would request you to pause the video here and think that what is exactly asked in the numerical and which formulas could be implemented. So hope you have given a good thought on which formulas to be used and how to calculate the numerical. So let us start with the solution to this. The speed of the salient pole alternator, the speed of the salient pole alternator, which is given by Ns, is equal to 1000 by 60, and the answer that we get is 16.67 rps. The output of the salient pole alternator which is given by capital Q is equal to K dash into D square L Ns. Since we know the value of Q, D, L and Ns, we can find out the value of K dash, which is nothing but the output coefficient. So, the output coefficient K dash would be equal to 4760 divided by 1.1 square multiplied by 0.95 multiplied by 16.67, and the answer comes out to be 248. As we know that the output coefficient K dash can be given as 11 into BAV into Q into KW into 10 raised to minus 3. Now we have been asked to calculate the specific loading constant. We know that BAV is specific magnetic loading and Q is specific electric loading. So the combination of these two, or let's say the product of BAV and Q, gives us the specific loading constants. So we need to find the product of BAV and Q and making them the subject of the equation. That would be nothing but K dash divided by 11 multiplied by KW multiplied by 10 raised to minus 3. So this can further be written as K dash multiplied by 10 raised to 3 divided by 11 into KW. Substituting the values, we know that the K dash is 248 multiplied by 10 raised to 3 divided by 11 into the value of KW is 0.955. On solving this, we get the answer as 23608. So the specific loading constants for this machine is 23608, which is nothing but the specific loading constants. So I hope you had a great time learning such type of numericals. For any sort of doubts or confusions, feel free to comment in the comment section, or you can reach out to me on the email address provided in the description box. Stay tuned for the second part of the numericals of synchronous machines. Till then, have a great time and be safe.